Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share a truth so simple yet so powerful. It can change the course of There comes a moment in every life when you realize that the noise around you, the endless expectations, the judgments, the comparisons is not yours to carry. In that moment, you see clearly that no amount of chasing will bring you respect, no amount of begging will bring you acceptance, and no explanation will convince those who refuse to understand. True power does not lie in speaking louder, in seeking approval, or in bending to the opinions of others. True power lies in knowing your worth and standing firm in it, even when the world tries to define you differently. Today, I want to talk about a principle so simple, yet so transformative that it can elevate the trajectory of your life, understanding your own self-worth and refusing to surrender it to anyone or anything outside yourself. Understanding your self-worth is not something that comes from accolades, praise, or recognition from others. It is an internal compass, a quiet, unwavering sense of value that exists regardless of circumstance. So often, people fall into the trap of seeking validation from the wrong sources. They wait for someone else to acknowledge their talent, approve their choices, or recognize their effort. They tie their happiness to a text message, a nod of approval, or a fleeting compliment, and in doing so, they hand over the control of their life to someone else's perception. But real strength is in realizing that your worth is inherent, untouchable, and not dependent on anyone else's opinion. When you fully internalize this truth, everything changes. You begin to operate from a place of authenticity rather than desperation. You no longer feel the need to twist yourself into shapes to fit into someone else's expectations. You no longer expend energy on convincing people to see your value because you already know it. And when you stop seeking external validation, you create an invisible shield against disappointment, criticism, and rejection. This is not arrogance, it is self-respect. It is the kind of quiet confidence that cannot be shaken by fleeting judgments or societal pressure. Consider the countless moments in life when people begged for approval, chased recognition, or tried to explain themselves repeatedly, only to be met with indifference or dismissal. Every time you reach outward for affirmation, you leave yourself vulnerable. You give your power away. But when you pause, look inward, and acknowledge your own worth, you step into a realm of freedom that is unmatched. You begin to understand that your value does not need a certificate, a trophy, or someone's validation to exist. It is already there, waiting for you to claim it. Knowing your worth also allows you to make better choices. Choices that align with your vision, your purpose, and your principles. You stop accepting situations that demean you or people who do not respect you. You refuse to participate in comparisons that erode your confidence. You no longer define success by someone else's standards, but by the standards you set for yourself. And in this space, your potential becomes limitless. Opportunities come not because you begged for them, but because your quiet strength and unwavering self-respect attract the right circumstances naturally. People who truly matter recognize your value without having to convince them. But embracing self-worth is not just about avoiding external validation. It is about cultivating an internal environment of respect, love, and recognition for yourself. It means acknowledging your efforts, celebrating your small victories, and forgiving your mistakes without guilt. It means understanding that your voice matters, your dreams matter, and your time matters. And when you live from this place of self-worth, every interaction, every decision, every endeavor is infused with purpose and power. Self-worth is the foundation of your life because it becomes the lens through which you see the world. When you are anchored in your own value, criticism no longer diminishes you, rejection no longer defines you, and doubt no longer controls you. Instead, you move through life with a quiet authority, a confidence that emanates from within, and a magnetic energy that draws respect, opportunities, and the right people to your path. You realize that you do not need anyone else's permission to exist, to shine, or to succeed, and in this realization, you find your superpower, the unshakable, unstoppable strength that comes from truly knowing your worth. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world obsessed with noise, attention, and constant communication, remaining silent can feel uncomfortable or even risky. Yet, it is precisely in silence that some of the greatest power is hidden. While others rush to speak, to explain, to justify, or to prove themselves, those who understand the value of silence realize that it is a weapon, a shield, and a statement all at once. Silence is not the absence of strength. It is the presence of self-control, clarity, and unshakable confidence. It is a language that communicates more than words ever could, a presence that commands respect without needing to demand it. When you choose silence in situations where others expect noise, you demonstrate restraint and wisdom. You show that you are not reactive, that you are not driven by the need to win arguments, gain attention, or impress others. There is a magnetic quality in someone who listens more than they speak, who observes more than they react, and who acts with deliberation rather than impulse. The world often rewards the loudest voices, but it respects the strongest minds. And the strongest minds often speak less because they know the weight of their words. Silence allows you to conserve energy, to focus on what truly matters, and to channel your efforts into action rather than empty noise. Consider the situations in life where people have rushed to explain themselves, to justify their actions, or to defend their choices, only to create confusion, tension, or even resentment. Words are powerful, but they are also fleeting, and when spoken without purpose or patience, they can undermine the very value you are trying to protect. On the other hand, silence creates a space for reflection, for observation, and for understanding. It allows you to gauge intentions, to measure reactions, and to act with precision. Those who rush to speak often reveal more than they intend, but those who remain silent project an aura of control, strength, an inner peace that cannot be easily shaken. Silence also has the power to build anticipation. When you do not immediately respond or explain yourself, you create a space where others notice your presence, your absence, and the weight of your choices. It forces people to recognize that your actions, your consistency, and your achievements speak louder than words ever could. Silence transforms waiting into strategy, restraint into authority, and calm into influence. It is the quiet strength that cannot be measured by volume, but only by the respect it commands and the results it produces. Moreover, silence protects your energy. Every time you explain yourself unnecessarily, you give away power. Every time you rush to justify a decision or convince someone of your worth, you allow their judgment to invade your emotional space. Silence shields you from this intrusion. It allows you to maintain composure, to preserve dignity, and to act from a place of intentionality rather than reaction. It is in these moments of quiet that you are able to think more clearly, plan more effectively, and operate at your highest level. While others exhaust themselves chasing validation or convincing the world, those who embrace silence move with a quiet, unstoppable force that attracts opportunities, respect, and alignment naturally. Silence is not emptiness, it is clarity. It is a reflection of the inner confidence that does not need constant affirmation. When you master the art of being silent at the right moments, you demonstrate emotional intelligence, resilience, and maturity. You become someone whose presence alone commands attention, whose decisions are respected without explanation, and whose energy is unassailable. It is through silence that you communicate conviction, composure, and an unshakable sense of self, showing the world that your power lies not in what you say, but in what you choose to do, in how you carry yourself, and in the consistent, unwavering pursuit of your purpose. Stop chasing, start attracting. Many people spend their lives running after things they cannot hold, chasing opportunities, people, or recognition as if their happiness and success depend entirely on them. They exhaust themselves in a relentless pursuit, believing that more effort, louder voices, or desperate pleas will somehow force the world to acknowledge their value. Yet in reality, chasing rarely produces lasting results. It often leads to frustration, burnout, and disappointment. The truth is that when you chase, you give your power away. You place control over your life in the hands of circumstances, opinions, and others' willingness to respond. The key to true success and fulfillment lies not in pursuit, but in attraction. In cultivating a presence, a life, and a mindset that naturally draws the right people, opportunities, and circumstances to you. Attraction begins with focus. When you stop chasing external approval or temporary gains, you free yourself to concentrate on the work that truly matters. You invest your energy in developing your skills, in nurturing your vision, and in building a life that aligns with your values. The more you commit to your own growth, the more magnetic you become. People are drawn to confidence, to competence, and to authenticity. They notice the calm assurance of someone who does not bend to every whim, who does not compromise integrity for attention, and who does not measure their worth by others' responses. When you stop chasing, you begin to create a space where others are compelled to come to you. not because you demand it, but because your energy, your actions, and your achievements naturally attract respect and opportunity. Chasing also leads to a form of emotional dependency that weakens your spirit. When you rely on someone else's approval or participation to feel validated, you allow your emotional state to be controlled by forces outside your control. Every rejection or delay becomes a blow to your self-esteem, and every minor failure feels magnified. But when you shift to a mindset of attraction, your power returns to you. You understand that the world does not owe you recognition or success, and that your focus should be on becoming the kind of person and creating the kind of life that naturally draws the right things in. This perspective transforms frustration into patience, doubt into confidence, and effort into strategic action. Attraction is not passive, it requires intentionality. It requires investing in yourself, mastering your craft, and demonstrating consistency in your work and your character. People and opportunities are drawn to those who radiate competence, authenticity, and resilience. They notice those who have the patience to let their actions speak louder than their words, who have the discipline to stay committed to their vision despite challenges, and who have the integrity to maintain their standards regardless of the chaos around them. The world respects those who do not chase, because chasing signals desperation, insecurity, and instability, while attraction signals strength, confidence, and certainty. Furthermore, stopping the chase allows you to see patterns and opportunities that were previously invisible. When your mind is not cluttered with anxiety over whether someone will approve or a goal will materialize, you gain clarity and perspective. You are able to focus on high-value actions, to recognize the people and circumstances that genuinely align with your purpose, and to avoid wasting energy on distractions or those who are not meant to be part of your journey. In this space of clarity, attraction becomes effortless. What you truly need comes to you because you have become someone who embodies the energy and qualities necessary to receive it. The principle of attraction over chasing is ultimately about control, focus, and self-mastery. By letting go of the need to pursue, explain, or beg, you reclaim your power and dignity. You stop trying to force the world to bend to your will and instead cultivate the qualities, mindset, and energy that compel the world to align with you. Your life transforms from a series of desperate pursuits into a deliberate journey of meaningful growth, authentic relationships, and opportunities that resonate with your purpose. The power of patience in a world that celebrates speed, instant gratification, and immediate results. Patience is often seen as weakness or passivity. People are conditioned to believe that success comes to those who push relentlessly, who demand it aggressively, and who refuse to wait for the right circumstances. Yet, the most profound, lasting achievements are rarely born out of haste. They are forged through patience, the ability to remain steady, focused, and composed while others around you are consumed by urgency and reaction. Patience is not merely waiting, it is strategic endurance, a conscious choice to honor the timing of your growth, your opportunities, and your life. Patience allows you to act with clarity rather than impulse. When you rush, you make decisions based on fear, desire, external pressure, often sacrificing long-term success for short-term relief. Hasty actions can lead to mistakes, regrets, and missed opportunities, whereas patience gives you the space to evaluate, to reflect, and to make choices that align with your vision and values. It teaches you that timing is as critical as effort, and that some of the most powerful outcomes in life require not just action, but the right action at the right moment. Consider the lives of those who have achieved extraordinary results, not because they forced circumstances, but because they understood the rhythm of patience. They did not rush to impress, to prove themselves, or to secure validation. They invested time in mastering their craft, in learning from failure, and in building foundations that would support long-term success. They were willing to endure periods of uncertainty, rejection, and apparent stagnation because they trusted that consistent effort and perseverance would eventually yield results far greater than anything instant gratification could offer. Patience, in essence, is the bridge between persistence and ultimate triumph. Patience is also a form of self-respect and self-mastery. When you are patient, you refuse to be ruled by external pressures, societal expectations, or the impatience of others. You refuse to compromise your principles for the sake of immediate gain. You understand that your journey is yours alone, and that trying to accelerate it through desperation or impulsive action only diminishes your power. There is an inherent dignity in knowing that the best outcomes cannot be rushed, and in embracing the waiting period as an opportunity for growth, reflection, and refinement. Every moment of patience is an investment in yourself, a reaffirmation of your commitment to excellence and integrity. Moreover, patience allows you to cultivate resilience. Life is filled with obstacles, setbacks, and delays that test your determination and emotional strength. Those who lack patience react with frustration, resentment, or defeat, often abandoning their goals at the first sign of resistance. Those who embrace patience, however, learn to navigate challenges with calm determination. They understand that adversity is part of the process, and that enduring difficulties with composure strengthens character, sharpens focus, and prepares them for greater success. Patience transforms waiting into an active process of preparation, turning moments of stillness into opportunities for growth and mastery. Patience also amplifies the impact of your actions. When you act too quickly, without proper timing or preparation, your efforts may go unnoticed or fall short of their potential. When you exercise patience, your actions become deliberate, precise, and meaningful. They carry weight because they are grounded in strategy, insight, and readiness. Others take notice of the individual who moves with quiet confidence, who understands that the power of timing is just as important as the power of effort. Patience becomes a magnet for respect, influence, and opportunities that are aligned with your purpose, rather than fleeting distractions or empty rewards. Ultimately, the power of patience lies in its ability to transform waiting into strength. It allows you to remain calm in the face of chaos, confident in the midst of uncertainty, and steadfast when progress seems slow. It teaches you that life rewards those who understand that timing is a force more potent than pressure, that consistency matters more than speed, and that enduring with purpose creates a foundation that cannot be shaken by temporary setbacks. Patience is not weakness, it is the quiet, unstoppable force that propels you forward with wisdom, strategy, and unwavering resolve. Energy is the most valuable currency you possess. It is the fuel that drives your focus, your creativity, your resilience, and your ability to influence the world around you. Yet, so often, people squander this vital resource on things that do not deserve it. Chasing approval, defending themselves unnecessarily, or pouring effort into situations and people that drain rather than uplift them. Learning to manage your energy is not just about efficiency. It is about preserving your power, maintaining clarity, and amplifying your impact. Energy management is the difference between a life that is reactive, exhausting, and chaotic, and a life that is intentional, purposeful, and extraordinarily productive. When you understand the value of your energy, you begin to recognize that not every battle is worth fighting, not every opinion is worth hearing, and not every relationship is worth investing in. Too often, people expend immense effort on proving their worth to others or trying to control outcomes that are beyond their reach. This constant drain leaves them fatigued, anxious, and less capable of performing at their best. But those who master their energy know that their focus should be reserved for what truly matters. The people, goals, and actions that align with their purpose and propel them toward meaningful success. Energy management also requires the courage to set boundaries. It means having the strength to say no to situations that sap your vitality and yes to opportunities that inspire growth. It is about recognizing that your attention is finite and that where you direct it determines not only your results but also the quality of your life. Every time you engage in unnecessary conflict, justify yourself, or chase validation, you dilute your energy and reduce your capacity to excel where it counts. Conversely, when you protect your energy, you are able to operate from a place of power, creativity, and influence, rather than reaction, frustration, or fatigue. Consider the ways in which energy flows in daily life. Those who react impulsively, who are constantly at the mercy of external pressures or the demands of others, often find themselves exhausted and ineffective. Their efforts scatter, their focus fractures, and their progress slows. But those who are deliberate with their energy move with precision, purpose, and control. They understand that energy is like water. If it is poured in too many directions at once, it dissipates. If it is focused, it can carve paths, overcome obstacles, and create results far greater than mere effort could achieve. Strategic energy management ensures that every action you take carries weight, significance, and impact. Energy management is also deeply connected to emotional intelligence. Emotions are powerful and contagious, And when you allow negativity, fear, or resentment to consume your mental space, you drain your energy and reduce your effectiveness. Those who manage their energy well cultivate emotional awareness and discipline. They recognize when to engage, when to step back, and when to redirect their focus toward constructive, high-impact efforts. By doing so, they maintain resilience in the face of adversity and sustain the clarity necessary to navigate challenges without being overwhelmed. Furthermore, managing your energy is about alignment, aligning your actions, your priorities, and your relationships with your vision and values. When your energy is scattered on distractions, drama, or people who do not value your contribution, your progress stalls and your potential is compromised. But when your energy is focused on growth, innovation, and meaningful impact, you create a life that is productive, fulfilling, and deeply influential. You operate at a level that others cannot easily match, not because of force, but because of the disciplined allocation of your most precious resource, your energy. Energy management is not simply a skill, it is a mindset, a commitment, and a form of self-respect. It is about choosing where to invest your vitality, protecting it from waste, and using it strategically to amplify your presence, your impact, and your results. The more deliberate you become in managing your energy, the more powerful, confident, and unstoppable you grow, transforming every action into a force that shapes your destiny rather than depleting your capacity to reach it. Emotions are the most powerful drivers of human behavior, yet they are also the most misunderstood and underappreciated forces in shaping success. Every day, people allow their emotions to dictate their actions, their decisions, and their interactions with the world. They react impulsively to criticism, panic, and uncertainty, and give their energy away to anger, fear, or doubt. Emotional mastery, however, is the ability to recognize, understand, and control your emotional state in any situation, transforming it from a potential liability into a superpower that fuels clarity, resilience, and influence. It is the skill that separates those who are easily swayed by circumstance from those who remain steady, purposeful, and unshakable regardless of external pressure. Mastering your emotions begins with awareness. To control an emotion, you must first identify it, acknowledge it, and understand its source. Many people ignore or suppress their feelings, thinking that emotions are irrational or inconvenient. Yet emotions are signals, messages about what you value, what threatens you, and where your focus and energy are being drawn. Recognizing your emotional responses allows you to respond consciously rather than react impulsively, giving you the power to choose actions that align with your goals and your values. Emotional mastery transforms instinctive reactions into deliberate, strategic responses. Consider the countless moments in life where unmastered emotions lead to regret. Words said in anger, decisions made in fear, or opportunities lost due to frustration or self-doubt. Every impulsive reaction chips away at credibility, self-respect, and momentum. Those who cultivate emotional mastery, by contrast, develop the ability to remain composed under pressure, to think clearly in moments of chaos, and to act with precision when others are lost in turbulence. They understand that their emotions are a resource to be directed, not a force to be controlled by. And in doing so, they gain a level of influence and authority that is impossible to achieve through sheer intellect or effort alone. Emotional mastery also requires the discipline to detach from external validation and provocation. Criticism, rejection, and opposition are inevitable in life, but the individual with emotional control refuses to let these external factors dictate their inner state. They do not allow others' judgments to incite anger, fear, or insecurity. Instead, they maintain a centered perspective, evaluating situations logically while honoring their own values and principles. This detachment does not mean indifference. It means strength, focus, and the ability to respond rather than react. It is in this space that true influence is born, because people are drawn to those who are unshakable, calm and confident even in the face of adversity. Emotional mastery also enhances resilience. Life is filled with setbacks, obstacles, and unpredictability. Without control over emotions, these challenges can feel overwhelming, defeating, or paralyzing. With emotional mastery, setbacks become opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. Frustration is transformed into focus, disappointment into determination, and fear into courage. By regulating your emotional responses, you create a stable foundation from which you can take bold actions, make strategic decisions, and maintain consistency even when the world around you seems chaotic or hostile. Moreover, emotional mastery is a cornerstone of authentic leadership. Those who can manage their own emotions inspire trust, respect, and loyalty in others. People naturally gravitate toward individuals who are composed, confident, and balanced, recognizing that such individuals will not be swayed by panic, impulsivity, or negativity. Emotional mastery communicates maturity, authority, and integrity without the need for words. It allows you to build meaningful relationships, influence outcomes, and create environments where productivity, creativity, and growth can flourish. Ultimately, emotional mastery is about reclaiming control over your life. It is the realization that while you cannot always control what happens around you, you can always control how you respond. It is about turning potential vulnerability into strength, chaos into clarity, and internal turbulence into a quiet, unwavering force that drives success. By mastering your emotions, you unlock a power far greater than intellect, effort, or charisma alone. You gain the ability to navigate the most challenging circumstances with composure, make decisions with clarity, and act with the confidence that comes from knowing your mind and heart are aligned, steady, and unshakable. A life without action is a life without impact. Words, intentions, and promises alone are fleeting. They fade with time, unnoticed and unremembered. True legacy is not created by what you say, but by what you do consistently, intentionally, and with purpose. Every decision, every effort, and every act contributes to the narrative you leave behind. Legacy through action is about understanding that your influence is measured not by noise, but by the tangible mark you leave on the people, projects, and world around you. It is the recognition that the silent, disciplined, and deliberate actions you take today will ripple far beyond your immediate perception, shaping the lives of others and the trajectory of your own journey. Too often, people underestimate the power of their actions. They believe that unless their efforts are loud, publicly acknowledged, or immediately rewarded, they have no significance. This mindset leads to hesitation, procrastination, and the squandering of potential. Yet history and life teach us repeatedly that the greatest legacies are built quietly, steadily, and relentlessly, often in spaces where few are watching. Every step taken with integrity, every effort made with purpose, and every challenge faced with courage compounds over time, creating momentum that cannot be reversed or ignored. Legacy is the accumulation of these deliberate choices, woven together into a story that speaks louder than words ever could. Action without consistency is fleeting, but action rooted in discipline becomes unstoppable. When you commit to executing your vision, even in small increments, you begin to construct a foundation that endures. People will remember not the promises you made or the excuses you offered, but the results you produced and the lives you touched. True legacy comes from the intersection of effort, integrity, and impact. It is a reflection of your values, your perseverance, and your unwavering commitment to moving forward, regardless of recognition or immediate reward. Every task completed with care, every obstacle overcome with resilience, and every contribution made with sincerity becomes a building block in the legacy you leave behind. Legacy through action also involves understanding the influence of consistency. A single act of effort can inspire, but repeated action creates patterns that others can follow, admire, and learn from. It demonstrates discipline, reliability, and character. When people observe someone who acts with intention, who pursues excellence without the need for applause, and who perseveres even when outcomes are uncertain, they are inspired not just by the results, but by the mindset behind them. Legacy is not about fleeting fame. It is about creating a standard of behavior, a blueprint for others to emulate, and a testament to what is possible when one's actions align with purpose. Another aspect of legacy through action is the courage to take responsibility. Life often presents opportunities where hesitation or inaction seems safer than risk, but it is in these moments that true leaders and creators separate themselves from the crowd. By choosing to act decisively even when fear, doubt, or uncertainty looms, you demonstrate resilience and initiative. Your actions become proof of your character and your vision. The people, systems, and projects you touch are permanently influenced by the courage and clarity with which you step forward. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to a ripple effect that extends far beyond immediate results, building a legacy that resonates over time. Legacy through action is not confined to monumental achievements. It is embedded in the consistency, integrity, and intentionality with which you live each day. It is in the way you treat people, uphold principles, and pursue goals relentlessly, even when recognition is absent. Your daily habits, your thoughtful decisions, and your persistent efforts are the fibers that weave together the story of your life, a story that will inspire and guide long after you have moved on. By choosing to act with purpose and commitment, you ensure that your life leaves an imprint, a legacy that is not defined by words, but by the enduring influence of your deeds, the silent power of your presence, and the lasting impact of the choices you make consistently over time, the power of silence and purpose. As we stand at the crossroads of choice in our lives, it is essential to remember that true strength does not come from chasing, begging, or explaining. It comes from within, from the unwavering belief in your own worth, the quiet confidence of your actions, and the discipline to focus your energy, patience, and emotions on what truly matters. Each of the principles we explored today, knowing your self-worth, embracing silence as strength, attracting instead of chasing, practicing patience, managing your energy, mastering your emotions, and leaving a legacy through action, are not just ideas. They are the foundation of a life lived with purpose, dignity, and unstoppable momentum. When you stop seeking validation from others, you reclaim your power. When you allow silence to speak on your behalf, you radiate authority and clarity. When you stop chasing and start attracting, you align your life with opportunities and people that truly belong to your journey. When patience guides your steps, you move strategically, understanding that timing is as important as effort. When you manage your energy wisely, you invest in the battles and endeavors that matter. And when you master your emotions, you act with composure, influence, and resilience. Finally, when your actions are deliberate, consistent, and purposeful, you leave a legacy that extends far beyond your words and immediate presence, impacting lives and inspiring those who follow. The life you desire is not built on noise or desperation. It is built on quiet confidence, intentional action, and unwavering faith in your own power. Each day presents an opportunity to embody these principles, to act with integrity, to conserve your energy for what truly matters, and to let your life tell the story that words cannot. Your silence becomes your superpower, your actions become your legacy, and your presence becomes a force that cannot be ignored. So, step into this truth boldly. Stop chasing, stop begging, stop explaining. Trust in your worth. Harness the power of patience. Focus your energy with precision. Master your emotions, and let your life leave a mark through action. The world will take notice, not because you demanded it, but because your strength, your discipline, and your unwavering commitment make it impossible to ignore. Today, embrace the quiet power within you and let it propel you toward a life of influence, impact, and lasting legacy.